Well, thank you for coming for class this morning, and welcome to yoga.tv. My name is Lauren, of course. I'm very aware of the beautiful students in the room, the beautiful women in the room this morning. So, as always, thanks for joining in and thanks for chiming in. And this morning, our practice physically will be one of some twists and some forward folds. And I'd like for us to sort of dive within ourselves in a place a little more contemplative. And the reason why is there's a lot of talk in the yoga world that we're here to connect the mind, the body, and the heart. But in reality, to connect things means that there are two separate things that we're bringing together. The reality is the mind, the body, the heart, or the spirit, they're already connected. They're not separate things. So then it changes what this practice is about. It's not necessarily about connecting. It's about remembering that we are connected. So I'd love for that to be our highest intention today as we practice and as we sort of use that as the fuel or the soil, you could say, to nurture that remembering, nurture this practice, nurture ourselves. Let's sit for a few moments with our eyes closed. And you're already doing it. Just sink into your hips and take in a few deep breaths. And let, with every exhale, your hips descend a little deeper into the floor. Your shoulders move away from the ears. Even the muscles in your buttocks and your belly, they too can soften. It's easy to feel at times disconnected from our bodies or our brains or our hearts. And the truth of the matter is that we are connected to these aspects of ourselves and to each other. So may it the highest purpose for our practice today, may it be one of remembering that we are one, that we are connected. I always like to start my class with the sound of Om, and we'll do it just once to begin the class, and then we'll finish with an Om too. So take your hands lightly together in front of your heart, please. And if you're new to chanting the sound of Om, there are many different reasons as to why we would do this. And the first one, from a scientific or energetic place, it helps the vibration of the Om, helps calm our nervous system down. And also it allows for us sort of practicing together, whether it be at home, via online, or here in person, it allows us to again connect. Remember that we are connected. So feel free either to listen or of course to chime in. Take a long inhale through your nose, please. Keep the length in your spine as you exhale through the mouth. Then inhale to begin slowly. Beautiful. Release your hands and open your eyes. That was nice. So you can stay seated on we're just sitting on little foam blocks here, and stretch your legs out in front of you. And if you're at home and you don't have one of these chip foam blocks, if you have an old phone book, those work really well, or you can fold up a thick blanket from home, or you can just sit on the floor too. So moving the flesh of your buttocks out from underneath you so that you sit evenly on both of your sit bones, please. That's an important part. And then keeping your left leg out in front of you, bring your right knee back in towards your chest. And we're going to start with some space between our left thigh and our right foot, about a palm's distance, you could say. From here, keeping your left foot engaged, so keep pulling your toes back towards you. Take your left arm and wrap it around your right knee. Place your right hand behind you like a little kickstand. On your next inhale, pull your knee to your chest and sit as tall as you possibly can, drawing your lower back in. And as you exhale, now turn from your navel and start to look behind you. Now, from here, every inhale, continue the same process. So with every inhale, you're getting longer through the spine, drawing your lower back in. And every exhale, turning from the navel, twisting a little further. And your back hand can support you just as much as your front knee can serve you too. Now, we're never meant to be in the full form of the pose on the first breath. So if after a few breaths you feel like you can go a little deeper, then as you exhale, take your elbow to the outside edge of that right knee. And that's your leverage point. You're just pushing then into the knee to twist a little further to the right. And let's take 3 more breaths here. Last one, full inhale, please, and full exhale. As you inhale, come back to center and change legs. So stretch your right leg out and bring your left knee in. Again, please have a palm's distance between your left foot and your right thigh. Keeping your right toes engaged, wrap your right arm around your left knee and place your left hand behind you. As you inhale, sit up really tall, lengthening your spine. And as you exhale, turn from your belly and look over your left shoulder. And again, it's the same process. We use the breath as an opportunity to move into the body skillfully. So we're inhaling to create space and exhaling to create depth. And of course, just like you did on the other side, if after a few breaths you feel like taking it further and deeper, stage 2 is bringing, as you exhale, that elbow to the outside edge of your left thigh. Breathing in and breathing out. Even thoughtfully turning your head a little more to the left side, turning your eyes a little more to that side. Last one, stay as you are for a full inhale and a full exhale. Good job. Inhale, come back to center. Stretch your legs out in front of you and just give them a bit of a shake, a little rumble of the thighs. Come back, sweep your feet over to the left side. And this time you're going to move the block or the prop out from underneath you. And with both feet over to the left side, there's a few options. So traditionally you would have your top ankle just resting on the instep or the middle of your bottom foot. Now, we want to sit down or be able to sit up when we're sitting evenly. So if this is quite challenging and you feel tipsy, then widening your knees will serve you too. Now we're going to do a side body stretch. So walk your left fingers to the left. As you inhale, reach your right arm all the way up. Big breath in. And then as you exhale, lean to the left side, taking your right arm in that direction. Now everyone, lengthen through the back of your head, lifting your chin slightly away from your chest. And the option is to simply gaze forward, keeping your neck neutral, or to then turn and look underneath your right arm. Either way, everyone, come back to that long, steady breath. Every inhale, just pulling yourself inwards, remembering the connection that is you. And every exhale, sort of lingering in the energy around you, recognizing that that is a part of you too. Take one more breath here. See if you can't on your exhale go just like half an inch deeper. And then as you inhale, rise all the way back up. Oh, that feels good. And release. And let's do the other side. Sweep your feet over to the other side. Amazing how stiff your body feels in the morning sometimes. So again, finding the appropriate stance, whether those feet are stacked right on top of each other or slightly wider. Then walking your right fingers to the right. And as you inhale, stretch your left arm up. Big inhale, reach up, lengthen from the hip to the fingertip. And then exhale, lean to the right side. It's very common to just kind of let the hands completely soften. However, use your fingertips to your advantage. So stretch from the left hip all the way up along the side of the body and stretch even further out through the fingertips. Kind of like you're a superhero and you have a magic power or magic web you're sending out. And be thoughtful with your neck. Keep lengthening the back of your neck, a slight lift to your chin. Let's do one more here. Big inhale. Stay as you are. Exhale. And then inhale to rise all the way back up. This time you're going to plant your hands in front of you and just make your way onto your hands and knees, please. Take your hands outer shoulder distance apart. So that means the outer edge of your shoulder, if it were to draw a straight line, it would connect with the middle of your wrist. Then spread your fingers out nice and wide and root the four corners of your hands into the floor. Now you can take your knees hips distance apart and tuck your toes underneath. We'll do some pretty familiar postures here, cat and cow, and as we move, go slowly and see if you can't feel all the articulation of the spine as you move it. So starting with your attention on your tailbone, as you inhale, I want you to lift your tailbone, so sticking your bum out, soften your belly and look up across the room. And as you exhale, again, starting at the tailbone, draw it in, lift the belly, round the back, and let your head hang. Fantastic. Let's repeat. Inhale, lift the tailbone, soften your belly, and look up. Exhale, draw the tailbone in, scoop your belly, lift the upper back, let the head hang. And 3 more, just continuing at your own pace. And keep a softness in the elbows. Last one, full inhale, full exhale. Good, coming back to neutral. So in between the round and the curve. This time we're going to stretch our arms way out in front of us, keeping our bum up over our knees. Then from here, walk your hands over to the right side. Keep your hands shoulder distance apart. Keep stretching them out in front of you, your hips high, but now as you exhale, soften your chest towards the floor. So again, still feeling a bit of a stretch to the sides of our body. And as you reach your arms over to the right, press the whole left side of your body more to the left. So press your left hip to the left, press your left ribs to the left. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and out. Just staying with that breath. So we live in quite a linear world where we tend to move in one direction, whether it's forward and back, sitting down, lying down. Not a lot from side to side, but we do tend to get tight along the sides of our body, whether it's in the intercostal muscles, which are the muscles within the ribs, or down along the IT band, the edges of the legs, even along the edges of the shins. So it's really important when we're looking to release tension in our spine or even through the front of our body to stretch the sides of the body. From here, root down into your feet and your knees, and as you inhale, lift your chest back up. And as you exhale, just transfer to the other side. And it's the same concept. Your hands are still shoulder distance, your hips are up high. Soften your upper back and sink down. And as you reach to the left side, again, you're pushing the right to the right. So push your right hip to the right, push your right ribs to the right, even the right shoulder to the right. Really until you feel that sweet sensation, that lengthening along the sides of your body. A few more breaths. Last one. And as you inhale, come back to center with your hands. From here, take your feet together and your knees as wide as your sticky mat, and then sit your bum back on your heels for your child's pose. Completely relax your head down on the floor. Let your forearms and your elbows rest on the floor. Just let out an audible sigh. We're just taking our time today in this video, in this class. Not only do we live in a world that tends to be more linear in the sense of our movements are more linear, but we can live in a pretty fast-paced world too. And to fully remember sort of who we are and the connections that we have, we sometimes need to stop and slow down and pause and reflect to give ourselves an opportunity to fully experience that. So may this class facilitate in that process. So with that in mind, as you inhale, please come forward onto your bellies. And you're going to stack your hands and rest your forehead on your hands. Point your toes back behind you, as everyone here has already done, and then completely soften into the floor. Again, with a bit of an audible sigh. And from here, bring your feet in a little closer towards each other, which will bring the whole legs themselves in closer towards each other. And then bend your right knee, bend your right knee. You're going to circle your right shoulder onto your back and reach behind you with your right hand to grab for the outer edge of your ankle. Yes. Now keep your head down on your hand, because we haven't done too many big back openers just yet, but start to pull your heel in towards your buttocks. Yes. And as you pull your heel in towards your buttocks, at the same time, everyone push the front of your pelvis, push your pubic bone down into the ground. And you'll generally feel more of a stretch in the hip flexor and the quadricep when you do that. Then keeping those actions, so keeping your heel in and your pubic bone rooted, lengthen from the hip out through the knee. Not so much that the knee lifts, but enough that you continue to feel the lengthening of the muscles in the front of the thigh. And there are 4 muscles there. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and out. 2 more. Last one. As you inhale nice and slowly, release your right foot. Bring your right hand back underneath your head. And now as you exhale, bring that same right knee along the side of the body up towards your right shoulder. So bring your right knee along the side of your body up towards your shoulder, exactly. And then look to the left side. So look to the left side, resting your right ear on the floor. And take a few breaths here. I remember when I was first introduced to this pose, I thought, this is a pose? This is how I sleep. So if the sensations are quite subtle here, if any at all, then just embrace it and take it as an opportunity to breathe and to remember. Now the cool thing is we're actually going to take this pose and add on slightly to it, add on a bit of a shoulder stretch. So staying as you are, stretch your left arm straight out to a T on the floor. Yeah, exactly. And you're going to be mindful to have your hand and your shoulder in the same line, in the same plane. From here, now you're going to roll towards the left shoulder. So if you pull your right hand out from underneath your face and just tent it beside your head, and then roll all the way over towards the left shoulder. And as you do that, you can actually let your left hip come with you and walk that left foot in a little closer. Yes, exactly. And so keep coming a little more towards the left side, and you'll see Premila, I'll take her with me here. She can come quite far to the side, her shoulders open, so she'll take that front foot behind her back leg with her knee pointing to the sky and continue to draw in that direction. Yeah, see, Jane's doing the same, good job. Now let your head rest on the floor, just not to crank the neck at all, and find the place in which you feel a stretch in the inner edge of the shoulder, the deltoid muscle, and the side of the pec, or even the whole pec itself. Breathe into your nose and breathe out. Breathe in and out. Do a few more. Last one. As you inhale, rolling back onto your belly. Again, stack your hands, rest your head, stretch your legs out straight behind you. Let out a big sigh. Soften into the floor beneath you. Feel your body. Feel the connections as they are. And from here again, we'll start with the quadricep stretch. So bringing your legs in a little closer towards each other. Bending now your left knee. Circle your left shoulder onto your back. Reach behind you with your left hand and grab for the outer edge of your ankle. Great. You can once again rest your head back on your hand once you've got your foot. Start to pull your heel in towards your buttocks. And at the same time as you pull your heel in towards your bum, push the front of your pelvis, the pubic bone, down into the ground until you feel the stretch in your quadriceps. At the same time, keeping those two actions, lengthen from your hip out through the knee, so the direction of the femur bone away from the hip. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. I really like this style of class and these sequence of poses after a long day of sitting. So if you've been traveling, say in a car or on a plane, or even just sitting for 8 hours at your work, if you sit at a desk, this is a really nice way to release the tight areas of the body, open through the spine and the shoulders, stretch through the belly and the thighs. Last breath, full inhale please, and full exhale. On your next inhale, gently release your left foot. Bring your left hand back underneath your head. On your following inhale, slide your left knee all the way up towards your left shoulder, and then look towards the right side, just turning your head in the opposite direction. And take a few breaths here, just letting gravity assist you here as it pushes down on your pelvis, feeling that maybe subtle stretch to the groin or the hip. One more. Then coming into the inner shoulder stretch. So now stretching your right arm out to a T on the floor. Again, making sure that your hand and your shoulder are in the same plane. Now slide your left hand out from underneath your forehead and just tent your fingertips beside your head here. That'll be a bit of assistance as you now roll over towards the right side. And just take your time. Maybe at first it's a few inches, and then maybe after that you're coming right over onto the shoulder. And if you want to, at any time, lift that front knee, point it towards the ceiling, and plant the foot down, as you can see with our beautiful Vanna Whites in the room, our demo ladies. And breathe in and breathe out. And how would it feel from the left if you lifted the elbow a little bit and then pulled from the elbow back? And yes. So we use the rooting actions, the contact we have with the earth to assist us in getting a little further into the pose. So the areas like your feet or your hands, when they're touching the floor, use them to your advantage by rooting down and helping you either lean back further into this pose or in other opportunities, rooting to rise through the arms or the torso. Take one more, full inhalation and full exhalation. And then as you inhale, roll back onto your belly, please. Stack your hands, stretch your legs straight, and once again, sigh out through the mouth. Completely soften. Take 2 breaths here. Now on your next inhale, slide your hands back just along the floor until they come behind the shoulders by the sides of your ribs. And then tuck your toes and just push up onto your hands and knees, please. Great, crawl your knees a few inches forward. Bring your knees and your ankles together and sit back on your heels. Then circle, or actually as you inhale, lift the sides of your body up until your shoulders and your chest lift up. And then as you exhale, draw your shoulders back, reach behind you, and interlace your fingers in your back. Keep squeezing your shoulder blades together, and now start to stretch your arms straight. Should feel kind of nice. Keep lengthening down through your tailbone. Pull your bottom ribs in and extend from the tailbone out through the crown of your head, particularly lengthening the back of your head. Oh, does that feel okay? Take a big breath in and out. Now, staying here is absolutely okay. If you'd like to go a little further, you're going to start to move your hands away from your lower back. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades as you do that. Good, so this is stage 2. Stage 3, you're going to keep your arms as they are, but place the top of your head down on the ground. From here, with the top of your head rooted into the ground, lift your bum up away from your heels and start to take your hands further behind your upper back. So this is stage 3. Now at any time, if you take a deeper stage and you immediately regret your decision, then don't feel bad. You can always come back. Now we don't want to bear all the weight of our body into our head and our neck, so keep rooting the top of your head down. Let's take one more breath here. And then keeping your head down, just release your hands onto the floor first. And then as you exhale, push up onto your hands and knees. Good job, you made it. Coming forward onto your hands and knees, shift a little more of your weight into your left hand. You may even need to lift the right hand to now step your right foot forward between your hands. Good, keeping your front foot so that your ankle is directly underneath your knee. Point your left toes back behind you. Keeping the top of your left foot on the floor, squeeze your inner thighs towards each other and now stretch both of your arms up over your head. And as you exhale, soften your shoulders down and sink a little deeper into that front knee. Relax your face, take a big breath in and out. Another big inhale, please. And as you exhale, release your hands to the floor. Now tuck your back toes underneath, and as you inhale, step as lightly as you can forward to the top of your mat. Yes, and just exhale and fold over your legs here. If your hamstrings are particularly tight, which is pretty common, especially if you're practicing in the morning, then bend your knees quite generously. Take a full inhale and a full exhale. Now as you inhale, please step your right foot back into the same long lunge and lower gently your right knee down to the ground. Point your right toes back so the top of your foot's down and squeeze your inner thighs together. Keeping the actions of your legs, inhale, stretch both of your arms up over your head towards the sky. Sink as you inhale deep into the shoulders and deep into the pelvis. Another big breath in and exhale your fingertips down. Again, inhale, step forward nice and lightly to the top edge of your mat. Exhale and fold over your legs. Bend your knees quite deeply, keeping your knees bent, your arms hanging and your feet evenly rooted. On your next inhale, roll slowly through your spine, coming up to standing. It may take a few breaths, and that's okay. As you stand tall, circle your shoulders onto your back, turn your palms forward and let out a big sigh. Take a breath in. Keeping your feet evenly rooted. Inhale, stretch your arms up over your head. Even look to your hands as you do that. And as you exhale, stick your bum out, fold forward, and release your hands down to your shins or to the floor. Without knocking heads, we're pretty close here. Take a big inhale and lift your gaze just to lengthen your spine. And exhale, fold, please. As you inhale, step your left leg back into a long lunge. And this time as you exhale, just settle in the hips, so keep your back leg straight and strong. On your next inhale, take your right arm, reach it up into the air and look towards the right side. That's a big inhale as you do that. And then exhale, release your right hand down to the floor. Good. Inhale, step forward to the top of your mat. Lift your gaze as you arrive. And exhale, fold, please. As you inhale, step your right leg back into a long lunge. And exhale, just to settle deeper into the pelvis. Inhale, take your left arm and reach it all the way up into the air. Good. And exhale your left hand down. That's all right, the other left. Inhale, push back to your downward facing dog, and exhale once you're there. Inhale, shift your weight forward into your plank pose. So now your shoulders are over the wrists. And as you exhale, bring your shoulders forward of the wrists and lower yourself down onto your belly. Oh, so beautiful. Point your toes back behind you. Now everyone, before you lift your chest, lift your shoulders up. We want our shoulders to be in line with the elbows. That's great. Now keeping your pubic bone rooted into the ground, as you inhale, lift up, just using not only just your hands, but your back muscles too. And then exhale back to your belly. Good job, ladies. As you inhale, tuck your toes. Feel free to use your knees if you need to. As you inhale, push back to your downward facing dog. And big exhale once you're there. Let's hold our down dogs for 3 breaths. You can see in everyone's downward facing dog this beautiful inverted V-like shape, where the hips are nice and high. You can see that their chests are moving back towards their legs, their hands are evenly rooted. If you find this challenging and your shoulders are more further forward, then bend your knees quite deeply as you root into your hands and press your chest back. Let's take one more long inhale and exhale. As you inhale, you're going to look forward to your hands, bend your knees, and as you exhale, step, walk, or jump if you'd like to the top of your mat. Good job. As you inhale, lift your gaze and lengthen your spine, and exhale to fold. Root evenly into your feet. Inhale, rise all the way up. Stand tall with a long spine. Stretch your arms over your head, and exhale, slide them down in front of your heart. At this time, interlace your fingers in front of you, just in front of your heart here, and stretch your arms straight. Good. Pull your shoulders back into the shoulder sockets and flip your palms, turning them forward. Keeping your arms straight and your shoulders rooted. As you inhale, take your hands now up over your head. Yeah, it's really common for get this sort of banana boat back. So from here, with a little bend in your knees, everyone take your tailbone down. Pull your bottom ribs in. Keep drawing the shoulders down, but now push into your feet and stretch a little further through the hands. Yes, another big inhale. And exhale, fold forward. You can bend the elbows as you do that and release your hands to your shins or the floor. Inhale, lift your gaze and lengthen your spine. And exhale to fold. As you inhale, step your right leg back into a long lunge, please. And as you exhale, turn and plug your right heel into the floor. So your back foot is now parallel to the back edge of your mat. And the front heel will draw a straight line to the middle of your back foot. So it's heel to arch alignment. Now place your left forearm up onto your left thigh. And as you inhale, sweep your right arm all the way up over your head for what we call Utthita Parshvottanasana. Great. You can bring your bicep of the top arm right down by your ear and turn the outer edge of the arm towards the inner edge of the arm so the pinky finger turns towards the floor. And take a few deep breaths, of course. On your next inhale, release both hands down to the floor and pivot your back heel up. And then as you exhale, lower your back knee to the ground. Inhale, place your left hand on your left thigh and stretch your right arm all the way up and reach as tall as you possibly can. Now as you exhale, take that right elbow to the outside edge of your left thigh. As you clip the elbow to the outside edge of the knee, place your hands on top of each other in what we call prayer or Anjali Mudra. Push your hands towards the center of your chest to dig that right elbow deeper into the left thigh. And at the same time, turn from your navel and look up. Yes. Keep your legs strong, so squeeze or lengthen, or draw your legs in towards each other. Now this is stage 1. This is great enough. If you're feeling like your guts are being wringed out, they are. If you want to go a little further, stage 2, you could say, keep engaging your legs and lift your back knee up away from the floor. Yes, wibble wobbles are part of it. That's okay. That's a part of it. Please embrace that part of ourselves. Remember, we're all connected and that it's all one. Staying here, take a long inhale. Keep your legs strong, and as you exhale, release your hands to the floor. Inhale, step back to your downward facing dog, a big audible sigh. Inhale, cantilever forward with your chest, bringing your shoulders past your wrists, and exhale slowly to your belly. Point your toes behind you, press your pubic bone down. Inhale, lift up into your cobra. Use your back muscles as much as your hands, and exhale back to your belly, please. Tuck your toes underneath with a big push. Use your knees if you need to. Downward facing dog. Settle in your down dog for 3 to 5 breaths. Again, working towards that inverted V-like shape. One more breath. As you inhale, bend your knees and gaze forward. And as you exhale, step, walk, or jump lightly to the top. With an inhale, lift your gaze and lengthen your spine. And exhale, fold, please. Go ahead, Jane, if you don't mind, step right to the top edge of your mat. See, she's got beautiful long legs, so she'll need lots of space. And as you inhale, everyone, step your left leg back into a long lunge this time. And we'll do the same sequence just on the other side. So from here, turn and plug your left heel into the floor so that foot is parallel to the back edge of your mat, and your front heel draws a straight line to your back arch. Then take your right forearm up onto your right thigh with a big inhale, windmill that left arm over your head so your bicep comes by your ear and you're reaching out through those hands. Bend deep enough into your front knee that you feel the muscles of your legs. We're meant to strengthen the muscles of our legs here in our standing poses. It'll help create an internal heat, help wake us up. Again, actively stretch out through those fingertips and take a few more breaths. On your next inhale, release both hands down to the floor on either side and flip your back heel up. And then as you exhale, lower your left knee down to the ground. Inhale, take your right hand to your right thigh and stretch your left arm all the way up. Reach as tall as you possibly can. And then as you exhale, take that left elbow to the outside edge of your right thigh. Place your hands on top of each other in prayer pose. And take a big inhale to lengthen the sides of the body. And as you exhale, push your hands towards the center of your chest and twist deeper towards the right side. Breathe in and out. And even though most of the action is occurring here in the middle of the torso, please know that your legs are of value. So engaging the muscles of the legs to the bone will serve in creating freedom and liberation in the upper body. So with that being said, if you want to go to stage 2, and especially if you did on the other side, keep engaging the muscles of your legs as you lift your back knee away from the floor. And again, there's no shame in wibbling, walling, and falling out. That's part of the practice. So feel free to explore that side of yourself and not take yourself too seriously, that's for sure. Take one more full breath in all its glory, you in this pose. And then keep your legs strong as you inhale back to center and exhale, plant those hands. Good. Inhale, step back to your down dog and exhale, nice audible sigh, be dramatic. Inhale forward to your plank pose. Bring those shoulders past your wrists and exhale slowly to your belly. Point your toes, root your pubic bone. Inhale, lift up into your Bhujangasana Cobra pose and exhale back to your belly. Tuck those beautiful toes. Inhale, use your knees if you need to, and exhale, downward facing dog. Remember, at any time you can take child's pose. That means bringing your knees to the floor, resting your head on the floor. Feel your body and remember all that you are. But there's more in any given moment than we usually perceive. that we as beings are more than we perceive. On your next inhale, please come forward into your plank pose, and as you exhale, just nice and slowly lower yourself down onto your belly. Now, I'm going to get you both sides, so all four of you beautiful ladies, to turn to face me in this way. And we'll do it first facing this way, and then we'll do the last side, the second side facing towards the camera, towards our students at home. And as you come onto your side, just reach your elbow out in front of you and place your head on your hands. And you want to stack your feet, your hips, your head, and your shoulders in a nice long line. Now with your bottom little pinky toe, clip your little bottom pinky toe into the floor just to help give a little more stability and deeper foundation. Your top leg, so we're going to just talk about our bottom and top leg because we're working different sides on either side. So keeping your bottom foot rooted, bring your top knee towards your top shoulder. Now take your top arm through the inside edge of your top leg around the front of your foot and grab the outer little pinky toe edge, the little blade of your foot there. Now remember that bottom toe is rooted into the ground. It's going to help with balance. And if you're way off in balance, you can always bend the knee. That's a modification. For Vishnu's couch, that's the name of this pose. As you inhale, I want everyone to stick your bum way back and stretch your front leg forward, like you're going to come and kick me. Then from here, lift your heel to the ceiling and now continue to lift the leg higher. Now this feels kind of awkward here, so there's one last little refinement, and that's lengthening your tailbone back towards your bottom heel. Push from your hips out into your foot and breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. One more. Now, release your top leg, bring your hand down to the floor in front of you, point your toes, take a big inhale, and as you exhale, slowly lower that top foot down onto the bottom. Fantastic, good job. And then roll to your belly. Take just one breath on your belly, stack your hands. Maybe sigh. And then now we're going to let the people at home see what we were doing on this side. So let's turn to face the camera, please. So again, lying with your head just on your hand in a nice long line, working your bottom toe, rooting it into the floor. Now as you inhale, bring your top knee up towards your top shoulder. And then take your top arm from the inside edge of your top leg across the top of your foot and hold the outer pinky toe edge. Keeping a hold of your foot in this way, everyone as you inhale, start to stick your bum way back and stretch your leg forward towards the people at home here. Yes, great. Now keep that as you turn your heel to the sky and reach it all the way up. Oh, yes. And now everyone lengthen your tailbone, push it towards your bottom heel. Yes, moving your pelvis forward more. Yes. Oh my goodness, so beautiful. And then extend from the hip out through the foot as if that leg was gonna grow longer. I still pray to the gods every day. Can I have long legs, please? I wanna have long legs like Jane. I think they're still laughing at me. They gave me a long torso, so I should not complain. Take one more full breath, so that's a full inhale and a full exhale. Then keep your leg long and beautiful and release that top hand to the floor in front of you. Take another big inhale, point those toes, and as you exhale, lower your toes and your leg all the way down, nice and slow. Fantastic. Roll onto your belly, stack your hands, rest for a breath. All right, one more breath. From here, place your hands on the floor behind your shoulders, so along the sides of your ribs. Tuck your toes and push to your hands and knees. And big exhale once you're there. Yeah, with your knees under your hips now, shift your weight to your left hand and again, step your right foot forward. And then walk your right foot a few inches further forward of that. Come up onto your fingertips, especially if you have shorter limbs like I do, and keep your left toes tucked underneath, please. Now shift your weight back, and as you straighten your front leg, flip your toes up towards the ceiling. Now the actions here are most important, so everyone take a breath. On your following inhale, with a very subtle bend in your front knee, root your heel down into the ground. As you push that front heel into the ground, now drag your right heel back energetically until you feel the hamstrings engage. Even from here, stick your bum out and start to, if there's room, fold from the belly forward over your front thigh. You can widen the elbows and soften your head. And know that it's not about how far you come down, it's more about the actions of the pose. So rooting your heel and dragging that heel back is what will serve you in stretching those hamstrings evenly. Let's do one more breath. Good job. As you inhale, bend into your front knee and shift your weight into that front foot. Now you may need to slide your front foot or crawl it back a few inches, and with the back toes tucked, lift your back knee away from the floor. Walk your fingers in front of your foot, shift your weight into your right foot, and lift your left leg up, keeping your hips square and level. Yeah, so lower this hip just a little bit. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other and push down into your standing leg. At the same time, extend back through your left leg, and as you exhale, draw your navel in and start to fold a little deeper over your standing leg. Taking breaks at any time, that's okay. Take one more breath. Now put a soft bend in your right knee and take your left foot behind your right foot, crossing your ankles. Yes, good. With your ankles crossed here, so your right ankle's in front of your left, squeeze your legs towards each other and again fold over your thighs. Now, some days I like to stretch like this just with my hands to either side of my feet. And other days you'll get a deeper stretch even on the side of your hip if you take your hands to the opposite side. So keeping your legs as they are, walk to the left, walk your hands to the left. Now generally when we walk our hands to the left, our hips will skew. So as you walk your hands to the left, tack your right hip back at the same time and say hello to your legs. Hello, legs. My daughter is 4 and she already thinks I'm cheesy. She always says to me, Mom, don't. Mom, stop it. Good. As you inhale, walk your hands to center, bend your knees and just uncross your feet, placing them beside each other. Good. As you inhale, let's step our right leg back into that same long lunge and gently lower your right knee down to the ground. Again, from here, walk your left foot just a few inches forward so that when we shift our weight back, which is the next step, when you shift the weight back, your hips stay over your knee. So it's not your bum on your heels. That's important. Then keeping your left toes pointing towards the ceiling, push your left heel down into the ground. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, energetically pull your left heel back and stick your bum out. Good. From here, if there's room and your body says it's okay, then start to take it deeper, moving your belly towards your thigh. And please always let the breath guide you. It can be very revealing. So if you find yourself in a pose when you're holding your breath, generally that means you're a little too deep into the pose. And what happens when we hold our breath is that our body actually goes into stress, it goes into fight or flight. And it will actually make things tighter versus releasing, which is what we're wanting to do here. So just know that breathing is important. One more big breath. As you inhale, lift your head up, and as you exhale, bend into your front knee. Walk your front foot back a few inches. Walk your fingers in front of your foot. And as you inhale, shift your weight into your front foot, lift your back knee, and then lift your back leg up. There we go. And again, there's this rooting action to help us rise. So push down into your left foot. Square off your hips and extend out through your back right leg. Keeping the legs this strong and energized, fold deeply forward over your standing leg. And breathe. Hang in there for one more full breath. And then on your next inhale, take your right foot behind your left, crossing your ankles with both feet firmly on the floor. Rooting the four corners of your feet down, squeeze your legs towards each other, and as you exhale, fold over your legs. Just noticing how this side's different. Now, if you like that subtle variation that we did on the other side, let's do it on this side. And this time we're going to walk our hands to the right. And as you walk your hands to the right, don't let the hips skew. So walk the hands to the right, but pull the outer edge of the left hip back. And it's a lot of these opposing forces in our yoga practice and the yoga poses themselves that will help us find the length and the stretch and the space. Last one. As you inhale, walk your hands back to center. And then as you exhale, keeping your ankles crossed, just bend your knees and sit your bum down. Oh, yay. It's always a good sign. Now we'll stretch your right leg out in front of you and pull your left foot back towards the inner edge of that right leg. Now there's a few things here. So you want to move the flesh of your buttocks out of the way, get the goods out, especially if you've got a good booty. Embrace the booty, but pull it out when we're sitting on the floor. And if when you release your hands either out to the sides or off to the floor, if you find that you're feeling like you're leaning too far back, or if you take one hand and run it up along the crevice of your spine, if any of your vertebrae are sticking out, particularly in your lower back, then I want you to find again that block or the foam book or the folded up blankets, and you'll just sit on that. So keeping the length in your spine, everyone, pull your toes back towards you. Even root your heel down into the ground and pull the heel towards the sit bones. Keeping that action, take another big inhale. And as you exhale, turn your belly over that right leg, placing your left hand to the outside edge of that right thigh or right shin. Take another big inhale to continue to lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, start to fold a little further over your right leg. Again, keeping your right heel rooted, even dragging it back towards you, like we did in that last hamstring stretch. With every inhale, keeping the rooted actions of your heel and legs lengthen to your spine, and every exhale, twist a little deeper and see if you can't come further over your right leg. And it may mean you can walk the left hand towards the foot. It may mean that you use your strap. If you're using a strap at home, you can walk the hands a little further up the strap. Root down into your legs. As you inhale, rise all the way back up. And then as you exhale, just twist for a moment to the left side, just a little counter pose. Take a breath in and out. Good. Inhale, come back to center, and we'll change sides. So stretch your left leg out and pull your right foot in. It's funny, I have a love-hate relationship with this pose. I don't actually like it. I always feel like the rolls in my belly protruding, and it's hard. I feel all like the tight crevices of my hips and my lower back. But what I love about it is when I come out of it. There's that sense of relief you get in your sacrum and your lower back. It really is an effective pose. So kind of got to let the inner hatred go away. All right, enough about me. Spread my toes, spread your toes, root your heel down, and then drag the heel back. Keeping your legs strong, inhale, lengthen from the hips to the crown of your head, and as you exhale, turn your belly over that left leg and grab the outside edge of your left thigh with your right hand. Keeping your leg rooted, take a big inhale, lengthen through your spine, and then as you exhale, start to twist and fold over your left leg. Oh yeah. At any time, with every breath, just take the pose deeper, just allowing for it to unfold in its natural and organic way. Take 3 more. Rooting down through your legs as you inhale, rise all the way back up, lengthening through your spine as you do that. Little counter pose, exhale, just twist to the right, take 2 breaths. And our last pose before our Shavasana is Paschimottanasana, so full legs, both legs out in front of you. Again, moving the flesh of the buttocks out from underneath you. Those sit bones rooted evenly, please. You can have your feet hips distance apart, so if you tend to have a tighter lower back, that will serve you. Or you can have the feet together, which helps draw to the midline. So just choose what serves. Let's start with our fingertips behind us. And I want you to keep your legs rooted. So again, root the heels, draw the heels towards the hips until you feel a subtle lift in the knee, but an engagement of the quadriceps. And then as you inhale, lift from the hips up through the crown of your head. Good. Keeping the length in your spine as you exhale, draw your navel in, push into your fingertips, and start to come forward. And this is stage 1. You can stay here, rooting those legs and heels, pushing your fingers back, lengthening through the spine. If you'd like to go stage 2, release the hands out in front of you and grab for anything between the knees and the feet. Now what I want you to do is keep drawing your lower back in. So focus more on bringing your belly to your upper thighs than your head to your shins. If you happen to have a pretty deep practice, keep widening the elbows. And as the belly comes towards the thighs, the next step will be your chest. Yes, breathe in and out. I'm going to give a little love to some of these ladies here. Is that okay? Let's take 2 more, last 2. Now root those legs, lift your chin, inhale, rise all the way up, and just sit for a moment in neutral position. So let the shoulders fall, let the hands fall by your side. Take a breath, feel. Then nice and slowly, you're going to bend your knees and make your way onto your back. Maybe scooting your bum a few inches forward and just lie with your knees bent. With your knees bent from here, draw your shoulder blades in together and lift your lower back away from the floor. So if you stick your bum out towards the floor, it will help come back to that natural lordotic curve in the spine. You can open your palms out to a T, maybe even let your knees knock in towards each other and just let the lower back decompress here. As you feel any tension starting to dissolve, maybe want to bring some more movements to the legs, maybe rocking the knees a little bit from side to side. Sort of just prepping here before our Shavasana, so just listening to our body and recognizing if there are any last particular stretches or movements that we're really wanting to do that will help us settle more effectively in our downward facing, or in our Shavasana. We're done our down dogs. I like to do a little bridge, so let's try that here. Separate your feet hips distance apart with your knees over top of those ankles. Root your shoulders down, press the back of your head down, and just nice and gently lift your hips away from the floor. As you lift your hips away from the floor, you can draw one at a time your shoulder blades in a little closer together. Either keep the hands apart or interlace the fingers under your back. Major thing here, try to soften the buttocks. Root evenly into your feet and keep the back of your head pressing into the mat. Take one more breath. And nice and slowly unclasp the hands if they're interlaced and bring yourself back down. From here you can stretch those legs out nice and long. Let your feet open out wider than the hips. Maybe turn the palms open. And just close your eyes. Just letting go of your expression. So allowing for the lines of your face, the features of your face to wash away. Keep a bit of space between your teeth so that your jaw can relax. And soften the muscles of your body, sinking deeply into the floor beneath you. Relax. Very slowly start to bring your attention back into your body, and just doing that by deepening your breath. And if you have more time at home to linger here a little longer in Shavasana, please do. We're going to start to awaken the body nice and slowly, just wiggling the toes or wiggling the fingers. Even just gently turning your head from side to side, or you can even sort of trace a little circle in the air with your nose. And when you're you're ready, with a big inhale, take your arms up over your head and point your toes away from you as long as you possibly can. Even hold for a moment. And then exhale to relax. Walk your feet in and bend your knees. And then roll to your right side just to rest for a breath in fetal position. Then from here, push into the floor with one or both hands and come slowly up to a seat. And we'll sit just for a moment here with our eyes closed and our shoulders relaxed. Our spine's nice and tall. Really a moment to feel and recognize where we are at the end of the practice, what's shifted and changed. And also another moment to linger, to awaken to the senses that remind us that we're connected already, to the inner selves that we call I, that we call me. To remember that we're not only just connected to ourselves and this inner being, but to each other. And maybe that would change the way in which you approach yourself or the way in which you approach others. But either way, may this continue to be a part of your yoga practice or the practice off your mat. So just as we began with an Om, let's close with an Om. We'll take our hands lightly together in front of our heart, the source of our understanding, the source of our remembering. And we'll close together. So take a long cleansing breath first. Inhale and exhale. Inhale to begin. And bow your head humbly to all that is you, all the glory that is you. And always from my heart to yours. Namaste.
Namaste.